Or we are live. If you guys see that link, click on it.
Guys, see that link? Click on
Got it.
All right. All right, cool.
Okay.
So our first time live, reviewing evidence. Checking everybody out online. So far, no one.
Yep. I think it's just us right now. We are at the Mid-Atlantic Paranormal Project. And for those who are tuning in, thank you very much for joining us for our very first Q&A session live here on Facebook.
So I'm Shane. I'm the tech manager.
Hey, I'm KJ. I'm an investigator.
And you can't forget you're also the historian.
I'm a historian too.
Yep. And I'm Tony. I'm an investigator.
And the founder of the best group on the East Coast. Our opinion.
I'm blushing.
So, what do you guys want to talk about tonight? Where should we kick this off?
Some of our newest tools and toys used for investigating.
Yeah, let's talk about some of our equipment. And since Shane, you're the master of the wrench and the screwdriver, why don't you go ahead and tell us what kind of things that you have put together for us?
Well, we, like every other group, have some of the common tools. We have a portal, SLS camera, DVR cameras. We have 8 of those. Tons of recorders. I think we, like most groups, love recorders. We try to put them in every room in a location that we possibly can. We kind of look at it like a fishing pole. You don't have a hook in the water in a particular area, in a location, then you have no opportunity to catch anything. So we try to put recorders everywhere we can. We're always looking for new cool things like Boo Bear and Tony, what's the
Teddy?
The dog.
Teddy?
Yeah, Teddy.
Yes.
Teddy, we have a EMF detector dog, Teddy. I can't think of Bob's website where you got that from.
Vortexgear.com.
Yeah, so that's been a great addition to our team. And then we're always trying to look at new things, trail cams and motion detection lights, and I mean we're always looking for new ways to really try to be innovative in every investigation that we go to. But I think equipment's really cool, and it really helps us do what we need to do, and really, I don't know, I'm at a loss for words tonight, which is strange, but it helps us really try to document the things that are happening around us.
Yes.
And, the best thing about each of us is we're a tool as well. So, trying to use our senses and our experience and things like that. So, hey, Marco, what's up, man? I was just looking online. Marco joined us.
Yeah. Hello, George, and hello, Sydney. How you both doing?
So that's some of the equipment that we use. We're, like I said, we're always looking for new stuff, and we're trying to cut down on time. That's been our biggest thing that we've found when we go out to sites. It takes forever to set up. So we've really been trying to figure out new ways to set things up. And so we're always trying to come up with new things. We got a new body cam that we just started using. It's really cut down on a lot of time, and we're hoping to equip everybody in the team with one of those. If you've seen our Facebook page, you'll see some of the latest video on that. But equipment's always cool. I don't know if you guys have any additional things you want to say about equipment, but
I'd like to talk to real briefly about some of the common things that we can find around a household that we can actually use during investigations. We use the static balls now instead of the EMF pumps. we're using. You came up with the cat toy that has the LED lights and it's touch sensitive. Simple things like that you find around the house or at the 5 at a dime, and you easily pick up and you can actually use to help capture things. And anything like that is cheap, it's inexpensive, but it becomes a valuable tool that you sometimes just can't do without.
Yeah, and you don't have to spend $200, $300, even $500 for any equipment. I mean, $3 for a cat toy. You picked up some plasma balls at Five Below, which was.
Yeah, I think we're up to 6 or 8 plasma balls now, so we can spread them out throughout the locations and turn them on when we need them instead of having to carry them around. But they work just as good, if not better, than any EMF pump that we've come across. Some of those EMF pumps are very loud and noisy, or when you turn those pumps on, it triggers all the trigger devices that you have. So Boo Bear and Teddy, the trigger dog, they would go off crazy as soon as you turn on the EMF pump. Luckily, the static balls still put off that little bit of the source that would need to power any entity to be able to communicate with us just as much as the EMF pump. But they do not trigger all of our other tools and give us some false readings. So, does anybody else out there have any questions? We see a few people have chimed in. Go ahead and just type in your questions if you can.
I don't know if everybody's seen us on Facebook, but we have some new merch listed on there. We got some sweatshirts and T-shirts. I just got my sweatshirt this week. It's awesome. I love that it has our M.A.P.P. logo on it.
I got mine about a month ago. It's really good quality. The logo looks really good. I was a little skeptical. I was like, I don't know if this is going to turn out that well, but it actually is a really, really cool sweatshirt. And like I said, the logo is really. I thought K-Joe, I don't know what you think, but I thought the logo and the quality of the logo looked pretty good.
Yeah, I love it. I was really excited about it. It's a nice heavy one and all black, so that it blends in on investigations, but still lets you know what group you're working with, and I love it. I'm very pleased.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm.
Tony hasn't picked up anything yet.
I'm designing a thermos mug right now as we speak, but I'm about to purchase some T-shirts. We had a contest for February. We were trying to reach 500 followers during February, I think it was the 528 challenge. Unfortunately, we weren't able to make that goal. We did get to 250. So thank you for those who have liked and follow us on Facebook. We are going to still forge forward, hoping to get more followers. But we did meet our goal on Instagram. We're way over 500 now on Instagram. So we do have some contest winners on the IG side of the house, the Instagram side of the house, who shared us and promoted us. So we'll be buying some T-shirts for those. We did have another contest, same thing, but we were hoping to hit 1,000 over on Instagram. Even though we didn't meet that, we did have a lot of people work diligently trying to spread the M.A.P.P. word. So we are going to reward them with some shirts. So stay tuned to Facebook. I think we're going to have some more contests coming up soon for merchandise. So I don't know if we want to give a heads up with some of them might be. Maybe at the end of this live broadcast, we might give a heads up what that next contest will be. But anyway, I would like to open up to the floor. Those who are chimed in, I see Marco. I see. Let's see here. Who else do I see? I see George. I see Katie. If anybody out there has any questions, I see Ann. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to just type them right there in the bottom there of the screen, and we'll be able to answer any of the questions. We'd like to talk about our locations, some of our evidence that we have. We do have a YouTube account. It's very young. We just started posting things up there. We're kind of slow to the game. But if you just go to YouTube and type in Mid-Atlantic Paranormal Project, or type in the M.A.P.P., M.A.P.P., our page should be where our channel should appear. I believe there's about 3 or 4 of our clips out there with some of our evidence on there. Thank you, Marco, for subscribing. I appreciate that. But if there's no questions, we just between us, we can start talking about some of our compelling evidence or evidence that we just cannot believe that we came across. I'll start off by saying one of our holy grails is a bed and breakfast on the Eastern Shore in Maryland. Been there several times before in the past, and together as a team, we've been there twice. And we cannot leave there without having something that, our mouth has dropped, and we can't believe we have that. One, I think the post is out there on our Facebook page and on YouTube, is a very distinct cry for help. It's very clear, very crisp. We have some more evidence that we haven't posted from there. All I will say is there's a room in this bed and breakfast where nobody really goes into, and you hear a lot of kids. And of course, when we're investigating, there are no kids around. And when we get that posted, we'd like for you guys to listen to it and give us your feedback. Shane, Kenda, do you have any other evidence that you want to talk about or emphasize or embellish on anything I just mentioned?
Well, I mean, at that same location, I mean, like Tony said, it's just mind blowing the amount of activity that we have there. We've heard footsteps. I know one of my daughters was with us on an investigation, and we were all in a different spot in the building, and she was hearing footsteps upstairs, and I think it kind of freaked her out. And that's just one thing, and just the constant activity of not only children but male voices. I don't think we've had any female voices come across, and it's not in one isolated location of the building. It's throughout the whole building, which is just mind blowing. I mean, you don't know where you're going to get it. Whether it's a kitchen, a bedroom, a ballroom. There's so many places that we've had activity at this one particular location that Tony's talking about, and it's just been an incredible. I think it's our number one location that we love to go to. As far as other locations, I mean, we go to some of the locations that I think everybody goes to. We've been to White Hill, Haldeman, Selma. White Hill has probably been one of the not the most active, because we went there at night when there was a lot of folks that went, so you get a lot of noise contamination. But we were in the basement of White Hill, and some of the ladies that we were with, including Keijo, heard clearly somebody say no camera, and all the guys in the room were like, I didn't hear a thing. And it wasn't until we went back and reviewed the audio, and you can clearly hear a woman say no camera on the audio. And I think we were all just like floored, because I was in that room. I clearly, it was clearly that nobody said anything, but all the ladies in the room heard this other woman say no camera, and it was there. It was there on the audio. And it's just, I know the investigators that are listening out there, this is the high that everybody looks for. And man, the minute you get something like that, it's just like, wow, that's pretty cool. I mean, it's not a full body apparition, but it's a pretty cool piece of audio. Keijo, I don't know if you have anything else or with that location or another.
Well, those kind of things that happen like that, that's what keeps you up and going back to sit in dark places and investigate in the middle of the night and talk to yourself and wonder if, this is worth it, or if you're ever going to get anything. And then you get evidence like that, and that's what keeps you going back. It just gives you that little nudge to, I want to do this again. I want to go back and investigate again. I want to find out what's going to happen at this location again. And it's that kind of thing that makes you really believe, okay, there really is something beyond that.
TV really doesn't do it any justice. I mean, they kind of fast forward through hours and hours and hours of video and audio. We're there all night long, and like I mentioned before, the equipment. When you talk about going through the evidence, let's just say you have 10 voice recorders, and you're there for 8 hours. That's a lot of hours to be sitting and listening to every one of those voice recorders, and we do it. And then you take on top of that, you've got 8 DVR cameras and 2 handhelds, and all these other pieces of equipment that we're really trying to capture. That evidence that could slip through our fingers, and we've had it happen where, as we're setting up, things are happening, and you're kicking yourself that you're not moving faster to get the audio or the video set up, and because you've missed the holy grail of all evidence, and it's so disappointing. But when you do get it, like Kenda said, it just keeps you going back. I mean, it's kind of, I'm sorry to use this, but it's like crack of the paranormal when you get that audio or that video clip that it's like, oh my gosh, I was there, I did not hear anything. Tony mentioned the help. It's just crazy. And yeah, as Marco's saying on Facebook right now, batteries drained instantly. Yep. Marco's been at a few of these locations with us, him and his son. It's nuts, but it's addicting.
It is very addicting. And I think also what Marco was alluding to too was that you go to some places and you sit 4 hours and you don't get anything at all, and then you go to these other places where boom boom boom, back to back EVPs, or you get that perfect glimpse of a shadow in your still pictures or something like that. So yeah, some of these places where you go and get very disappointed that you didn't come out there with anything, not even like hot breath on your neck or anything. But then you go to the next place and you get all this other evidence. So that's what makes this, and that's what makes us keep moving forward, because not every place you go to is going to have evidence. Not every place is going to be active when we're actually there. I mean, it could be active one day and dormant the next, and then be active again when we leave. We can't control. No one can control when something's active. You can never really predict when something's going to become active. I just think it's great to be there when it happens, and those times right there is what we like to share with everybody else. But everybody has these types of experiences. I see that Reno signed on. Hello, Reno. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you being here. Locations. We are looking for more locations. So if anybody has any ideas out there, we did post that we're looking for a location scout. We have a few really good replies right now that we're working with. But if anybody else out there is interested or just wants to show us, hey, we have an idea where you guys can come investigate, please let us know. And if it pans out, by all means, if you referred us to that location, if you are nearby or can make it to that location, you are more than welcome to join us, since you help us, hook that location to go investigate. We are trying to fill up our calendar. Our goal is usually one investigation a month. During the summer months, I would not be surprised if we have 2 or 3. We have a lot of grounds that we're going to be exploring this summer. 1 or 2 that we've been to before, and then there's a handful that we're going to go ahead and reach out to and explore, which will be new to us. So if anything, if it's a residential, if it's commercial business, if it's a cemetery or a plot of woods, let us know, and let us know the history of it, and see if we can land an investigation. Anybody else have any questions out there?
Well, while we're waiting on the next question, I just would like to ask Keijo if she would talk about the restaurant that we were in and the experience that she had. It's just such a cool. I love it when she tells the story about this piece of evidence that because we didn't capture it on any audio or any video, but Kenda, could you talk about that, the restaurant and sitting there in the dark and what you heard? And
Sure. We were in a restaurant, and it was closed, and it was all dark, lights are out, and we are recording everything, and we could hear upstairs. There was a caretaker who we weren't sure if he was there or not there, and all of a sudden we hear, it's about 2:30 in the morning, and we hear these footsteps like that. I completely jumped up, prepared to say, "Oh, I'm sorry. It's really late. We've overstayed our welcome. We're sorry to inconvenience you." And I got up and headed towards where the noises were, and there was nobody there. I fully expected a human being to be irate and irritated, and there was no one there. And this was actually a restaurant in Maryland. I don't want to disclose the location because I'm not sure that the owner would appreciate being known for a haunted location rather than his delicious food. But it is located in Maryland, northeast area of Maryland. And I was fully expecting a human person. And Tony and Shane got up to follow me, and the noises just stopped. And we're just standing there looking at each other, and the goosebumps that go up your arms when you heard boom, 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 and there's no people there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's something when you see your fellow investigator jump up with the expectation that something's coming into the room. Either it's a human being or a spiritual being, but they're 100% confident that something's coming into the room, and to see their faces and to see the body language and nothing's there just blows your mind. And it's not only happened to Keijo, but it's also happened to Tony. We were at Selma, and I think we had some
I think it was
investigators with us.
I think it was the Haldeman House.
Haldeman. Oh, it was Haldeman.
Yes.
Haldeman. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. Thank you. But you took off like whatever it was. I'll let you explain. But that was another night that we were like, "Whoa, that was crazy."
Yeah, I think that was one of our first hosted events where we brought some guest investigators with us. I believe the Marcos were there with us. We had the beginning of the M.A.P.P. Academy there with us. And we were upstairs of the Haldeman Mansion, which is located just outside of Lancaster, PA. And just staring, I think there was no doors, but the doorways were there, and it just kept looking like hip level, almost like a kid was almost playing hide and go seek, or just kept peeking around the corner of the doorway. And I kept a couple glances. I thought it was my eyes playing tricks on me. But if you remember that night, it was a snowstorm, and we're off of the main highway, so it's only a driveway. So it wasn't like headlights or anything like that was shining in the doorways or anything like that. But I got that one glimpse where it actually looked like a kid was peering over the side, and I just wanted to capture it. I had my camera going. I just kept clicking the shutter repeatedly as I ran towards that object, hoping to catch something. Unfortunately, I catch more me running than I did of anything that was in that doorway. I think we came out with maybe one or two shadows, but we really couldn't make it out. But your adrenaline starts pumping, and especially when you see something that you just can't explain, and you just start going at it. I don't know what was more intriguing, that experience alone, or the two male guests that we had who pretty much cried and ran the other direction when they saw me running towards it.
That's when you know you're with the right people.
Yeah,
when you see
exactly.
somebody hauling ass towards the whatever it is that they're seeing and not away from it. That's when you know that you're working with the right people. And both of you at that time went towards whatever it was, which I was just so impressed with the professional and your not being scared or anything. Not that there's anything wrong with being scared, but you went right at it, and man, it was crazy.
We have gotten a few questions on here, guys,
Okay.
so I didn't want to miss out or not respond. Reno had a question about what is our most evil or demonic experience.
Okay.
And then there was another question that came up after that, so let's start with Reno's.
Okay. Hi, Reno. How you doing? Reno's a fellow Freightlander, so thank you, Reno, for joining us tonight. I would have to say one of my a group I was with before I started this group dealt more with the demonic side. We had a priest and a deacon on our team who would be there too for spiritual guidance or for resolution if the homeowner or the owner wanted to get rid of what was there. But I believe that it was a location that we've recently been back to, and we're in the basement, and I got really sick. I had a headache. I got really disoriented. We ended up having to stop the orientation, or I'm sorry, the investigation of what we were doing. 2 weeks later, I suffered a very minor stroke. And to this day, I think it was because of that, whatever happened down in that basement. You got to be very careful when you deal with stuff like that. I think the only reason why I really pushed for us to go back to that location was to, one, to prove I wasn't scared, and two, to hopefully prove that whatever was down there wasn't there to hurt me. When we've been back, I have not sensed anything as evil as the first time. But I would have to really sit back and think. But we have been to some places where there have been really heavy presence. And I'll just quickly talk about one. I think it was one of the first investigations I went on to with this group, and it was downstate. George, if you're still on the call, he'd be able to contest to this. As the priest and our founder of this other group was talking to the homeowner about the experiences, the lights, and I was manning a camera at the time, the lights actually went off and back on again. And George looked at me. He could see the look on my face. I probably turned whiter than any spirit in the building, but I was not expecting that. And that was probably one of my first experiences with something that interactive. Of course, I took off to see if any family members were near the surge breakers, circuit breakers, or anything like that. But everybody was accounted for. It just was an experience. We did have to, what they say, cleanse the house that night. But we now, as M.A.P.P., will not investigate known demonic activity. If it happens while we're there, we will document, leave, and then refer them to somebody else who can handle something like that. I know too many. Unfortunately, the priest that was with our group is no longer with us. There's a lot of thoughts of why that may have happened, but of course, that's just us talking amongst the group. So you got to be very careful. That's another reason why we say do not use a Ouija board, because you do not know what you're getting yourself into. We will not ever have an investigation. If somebody ever did pull out a Ouija board, they would be asked to leave, or we would leave, because we do not want to mess or tempt fate like that. Do you guys have any of those demonic, or even if it's not with our group, something you may have experienced on your own? Shane or Keijo?
I personally have not had anything demonic. I consider myself an empath, and I feel like I can sense that. So I don't. I've gone to some locations to possibly investigate, and once I've been inside, I've determined that I can't deal with it, and I don't want to be there. And so I've left and haven't pursued investigating those places.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Shane, if you have any.
No, I don't. No personal experience with anything demonic.
Right. We have had a few calls within, last 3 months or so.
Yeah, we got one not too long ago.
And we basically referred them to somebody else, somebody who was in that previous group. We haven't followed up, unfortunately, but we did get them in contact with each other in order for them to help resolve whatever it was that was happening there that they were not happy with. The number one thing, if kids are involved, or we feel that kids' safety is an issue, we will definitely do our best to find someone to help that family out to make sure that that stuff is resolved.
I see we have a couple more questions here. Yeah. We have one from Anne.
Yeah,
I'd like to know, have you ever had physical objects move?
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. We had.
That just happened recently.
Yeah, we did. We weren't able to document it. We're kicking ourselves. I think that was Shane was alluding to earlier about not being able to set the equipment sooner. One of the places we went to, it was known, or it was, I don't want to say a rumor, but basically it was chatter that plates in the kitchen of this place that we were at would fly across the room. Also, if certain things were left out that shouldn't have been left out, I think hot sauce or ketchup or something was left out that shouldn't have been left out, really upset whatever was there. But this one place we were at, we're setting up the cameras. We haven't yet set up the recorders yet, and we left the room to connect everything. Heard some few noises. We went back in there to investigate to see what was going on, and there was a plate on the floor, perfectly. It wasn't like it dropped straight down. it was halfway through the room. Unfortunately, even though we heard it with the naked ear, we did not catch it on camera. We did not catch it on audio because audio was not captured, hooked up yet. But that kind of stuff, yes, we had a personal experience that we can share amongst ourselves, but without the evidence, recording, we really can't really talk about it. We can't really, present it anyway because, it's just our word against, there's people out there who just don't believe. But that was...
We did try, though.
Yes.
We hooked up instantly. We went and grabbed 2 DVR cameras, had it going from every direction in that location, and also a recorder, which, I think it was probably within the hour of setting up that recorder. That's when we heard something come right up to the recorder and say, "Help." It was in the same area that the plate was flipped over. It was nuts. But it's a clear. I think we have that on our Facebook page.
Yeah, we do. Yeah,
that's a very clear EVP.
Yeah, I think all of us got goosebumps over that one. That was pretty good. But it's so crazy when you hear that kind of stuff. So clear, and it's something is looking for some help. So I'm hoping that we can go back and see if we can provide some help for it. But I see we have some more questions coming in too.
Yeah. Christy, she asked about possessions. I don't know.
And she mentioned she tells her daughter not to play with an Ouija board. And yeah, we all recommend that no one ever play with a Ouija board. Yeah. You do not know who you're talking to. You do not know what you are inviting in. And that can be a very dangerous thing to do.
Right. Even if you're trying to talk to your beloved Aunt Gretchen, who passed away 10 years ago, whatever it is that you think you're communicating, will pretend to be Aunt Gretchen. And once it gets that invite to come over, you find out the hard way that it isn't poor little old Aunt Gretchen. So be very careful. Do not. And there are proper ways to destroy Ouija boards. If you have one in your possession and you want to get rid of it the right way, just send us a direct message, a private message, and we will help you get rid of that. The other thing about possession, I don't know if we've ever had it in any of our investigations. I do tell anybody who guest investigates, do not open yourself up for that. A lot of people like to open themselves up thinking that, their eyes roll behind their heads and they start speaking tongues, that they're helping us gather evidence. But in fact, you're hurting yourself, and we do not want to put you at risk or us at risk for anything like that. So do never allow yourself to be that open. I do joke that I carry a taser, and if I see you start chanting and levitate off the ground, I will shock you, and I will call the state hospital to come take you away so your family can deal with you. We do not really, we definitely don't encourage that type of investigation or that type of tactics to try to communicate. I've had a personal experience way back when, before I ever joined a team, where I had a very strong urge to asking or looking for a person named Eleanor. And it was a very strong, not saying I was, possessed or anything like that, or anything that was entering into me, but it's like a very strong, where's Eleanor? What am I thinking about Eleanor for? After doing some research on that apartment complex that I was at the time, that apartment complex was the quarters for the servants who waited on the houses that was nearby, and did not find anybody there by the name of Gretchen, but there was rumored that an elderly man lost his wife and could not find his wife. So don't know if it was him looking for Eleanor or not. But that's the only thing I can come close. Like I said, it wasn't possession. It's just a really strong feeling. It feels like somebody's asking for Eleanor, and it was a really strong feeling. That's one of the reasons why I got into paranormal investigation. Other than other things that happened when I was younger. Shane, what got you into paranormal investigating?
I just think curiosity. I mean, with paranormal and on TV so much these days, and I'm kind of attracted to it like most people are, and then from my professional background of being kind of a techie, bringing those two loves together, it's so cool to be hanging out with cool people that are like-minded, and it's just a neat experience, and our team is trying to find a team that is minded of what you like you've mentioned, Tony. No taunting and no Ouija boards. We try to leave every place that we go to in a better shape than what we found it. So I think it's hard to find a group of individuals like that, and I think we've got it. So that's why I'm here. How about you guys?
I agree with you. I think we have a perfect team. We do welcome more to join us, but we have such a big bond, and we did not know each other when we started this. We're complete strangers until we joined. Started M.A.P.P. and started joining forces. So, Joe, I think I've only known you now for a little over 3 years. Is it 2 years?
Yeah,
and then Shane, he came in about 6 to 8 months later. Shane and Joe, I believe, knew each other from around their town, but I don't think they've ever been disengaged with each other since before starting M.A.P.P. Or joining M.A.P.P. So yes, we do have other people out there. I don't want to forget the Marcos and George and Paulette. Anybody that might be on there from the paranormal, from the M.A.P.P. Academy. We do have a good team. So I really do appreciate our team, and I couldn't be doing this without you guys. I know sometimes we get a little vested in the social media and begging for the likes and everything else and the followers, but that's not what it's all about, and we don't want to lose sight of why we're doing this. We do this for the passion of trying to document what other people don't understand. We want to educate people the right way and the wrong ways of doing what we do. So that is the true reason why we do this. It's not for the publicity. It's not for the, hey, aren't you that guy from that Facebook ghost team? It's not for that. It is truly, truly for discovering what's out there that hasn't been discovered yet.
All right. This has been fun, guys.
Yes, it has. And I think I'm looking at my monitor right now. We're about to run out of time. I did not know that there was a time limit on these live audios. So please, guys, spread the word. If you haven't already, please like and please follow. We're on Facebook. We are on Instagram. And we are now on YouTube. Again, this is not why we're doing it, but it's nice to know that you guys are out there, and we want you guys to be able to experience what we experience. So as we get evidence done, we will share it with you. We want your comments. So whenever you see a post, comment. Tell us if you see what we see. If you hear something totally different, please let us know. That's one of the key things about revealing evidence. Not everybody agrees what we hear. If you think it's total BS and you just don't believe it and you just don't hear it, don't see it, tell us. We want to hear that stuff. Everybody has the right to their own opinion. Everybody has the right to their own perception to what we present, and that's what we encourage. So thank you all for being devoted followers, and we hope to bring you what you're looking for. And if you have suggestions, what you would like to see more of, please definitely let us know, and we'll do our best to deliver what you're looking for.
Thanks for listening.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.